Hey everyone, welcome to the workshop. Bit of a follow-on video today. The response to my original Ghostbusters sign for the outside of the workshop, the 3D printed sign that I did, the response to it has been absolutely fantastic. Everyone's loved it. And I've had a number of requests to do the Ghostbusters 2 sign. So while I've already obviously done another video on how I put that sign together, found all the files and so forth, what I wanted to do is create a video which actually shows you that process of being able to create your own sign. It doesn't have to be the Ghostbusters 2 logo. It can be any sign that you want, especially if it's a logo that's very well defined with its outlines and its graphics. So there are three sort of online tools that I use in order to achieve that, and that enables you to basically create separated PNG files by manipulating all the colors, creating flat black images to then convert those into SVG files. And once you've got an SVG file, you can use those for 3D printing, CNC machining, but then ultimately converting that SVG file into an STL file that you can then pop into your software for your 3D printer. So basically this video is going to be more of a how-to on to achieve that, with a little bit of putting this together and then showing you the end results on that. So we shall just head over to the computer.
First off is to get the Ghostbusters 2 logo that you want. Now there are a couple of tools that I use here. Ultimately what we do is create an SVG file that we can convert into a 3D file at the end of it. So I put it through various different tools and filters first in order to actually manipulate the image to get these solid shapes that we need. So the first one is PNG tools, online PNG tool, sorry. I'll put all the links in the description below, but basically what this tool enables you to do is manipulate the images to, you can create transparent backgrounds by just selecting colors. So for instance here, what I'm going to do is get rid of the black lines on the ghost. So I've selected the black in the control tools down the bottom, where you can tweak it to, I usually go to about 25%, usually gives you a good sort of blend of if there are any sort of different blacks or different shades of colors, it kind of picks up the rest of it for you, which is quite good. But on this occasion here, I'm getting rid of the black, or I want to make the ghost transparent itself. So I'm selecting those colors, and as you can see, as you're playing around with it, it'll get rid of various things on there as well. So for the first sort of the Ghostbuster sign needs to go through a number of passes, pure and simply to remove what you ultimately want to do is end up with a solid black image. So I'm basically just taking those colors and converting them all into black shapes. But we also want to do is split the image into two as well. So while at this first pass I'm creating the black background for the ghost, if you click on the red, that would make the whole thing black, and I would have converted that into its own image itself, self-contained image, and then splitting those out. So by selecting the black first and then getting rid of, saving that, uploading it again, selecting the white, getting rid of that, you're then just left with the actual no ghost sign. And then you would do the reverse process of that by getting rid of the no ghost sign by selecting that. And then ultimately what you're left with are the three solid black SVG files that you'll need to, or sorry, PNG files that you'll need in order then to upload into the next tool. So as you can see here, I've used the PNG tool to basically manipulate all of those different colors by getting rid of the blacks, the whites, the reds, and then saving those individual ones, and then you're left with these basic silhouettes in the right format that you need. Then over to convertio.com, PNG to SVG, I think is, put the links below, and this basically converts those PNG files into SVG files for you. And then the last part of the process is going over to svg2stl.com, and this basically website converts SVG files, into STL files, the files you're going to need to actually put into your printer and generate them, where you can generate a width or a diameter of your actual STL model. So usually do about 5 mil, and as you can see now, it actually generates those STL files, which you can then take over to your 3D printing software. Now, once you've got those files, you can double check them here. You can see I now have 5mm thickness on these STL files. It's time to load up your 3D software. So I use Cura, automated Cura. If you need the software, I'll pop it in the links below, just in case. Very handy tool where this will enable you to upload your actual files and then resize them for your specific printer beds. And there's so my printer bed is only 200 mil, and the original Ghostbusters design that I did do was 180 mil, but I know because of the format of this image itself, it's quite large. So I did actually scale this using this software to shrink those down and get the widths that you need to fit on your printer bed. Is the final step in the process, and then you should have, and this works for any image do you want to, anything you want to make, basically, especially for a sign. You would go through these 3 different tools and then do all the scaling and that in your software at the very end. And then over to the 3D printer. So with all the files printed, as you can see, both sides and the actual base plates that they're going to sit on. And the main thing for this build is the actual silhouette itself. Now I did this at 95% of the original size, just to fit it on my actual bed itself. And I did the no ghost site on the actual ghost about 93%. So it was a little bit off. And the main thing for this build, for me anyway, was getting the alignment right. I spent quite a lot of time just trying to get by eye where it should actually sit to be able to glue down, just so we've got enough of the black around the ghost, but it's not too far off. So I think I should have done it probably at 94% of the actual ghost and then a ghost sign. At least then you would have had a significantly smaller width around them, but it did take a lot of jiggery pokery. So just bear that in mind when you download the 3D print. And then once you're happy with the dry fit, it's then literally just down to the gluing and putting it all together. And once that's all done, leave that off to dry on the side. And then I just basically worked on the box a lot smaller this time round. But the great thing I mentioned beforehand is the community really have enjoyed this design that I put together on Thingiverse. And there's some really good remixes of my actual framework here. So you can go check out that. There's some remixes on there with some better bolt holes and that. Didn't download those versions of it, different idea, but just grab those files on there. It'll be a little bit different. And then once that's all down, then just doing another quick dry fit, just to make sure the actual ghost sits. I want it to sit on the plate itself. Then same process for the other side. So place it off to the side there, and then we start working on the opposite side of the sign and start gluing all that in. Again, quick dry fit, all kind of sits where it should do. I preferred this side. I did it a lot better than the original side itself. Again, I'll probably tweak the model before to doing any other different versions of this. Then finish off by attaching this to the second base plate. And then just into the final assembly. Now, obviously, this is the sort of dry fit here, but I haven't actually glued this one together, and there's a really good reason for that, which I will share with you in a second.
So there we have it. Here's the actual sign itself. Very, very happy how this turned out. Now, obviously, I just finished off saying that I wasn't going to actually finish gluing the piece onto that, and the reason for that is I actually decided, because this is it's a smaller scale to the other one, it's a little more fiddly. When I was putting it together, I actually thought to myself, this would look really good as a clock. So I'm actually going to order some parts for this. I might do a little bit of a follow-on video, very short video, if anything, and basically just convert this. So I've got two sides to it now on there, so I haven't attached that this time round, and then basically use this template here to pop a little clock in, so I can have a Ghostbusters 2 clock 3D printed in the workshop instead. So again, thanks for watching. The response to the channel so far has been really, really positive. I've had loads of questions, people asking me questions through various different social media outlets. So on the social media, please like, subscribe, do all the usual. I'm out there on the social medias, links above and below and everywhere else that you need to find me. And if there's anything else you want me to see doing, I've got a couple of other projects in my head that I kind of want to get on with. I might do the actual ecto goggles that you've seen me wear in previous videos. And actually, this will come off here. So yeah, tempted to do maybe a video on how to put the ecto goggles together, or actually do a newer version of these. So these are more of a prototype on how they actually all work. So I'd be keen to do an updated video on how I did that. But if anything else you want to see, just let me know in the comments, and hopefully we'll see you on the other side.